Hello everyone and welcome to How Good Is One of the Best Girls in the Game. It's my girl Shizuku. She has gotten her 5-star Uncap and Doppel and everything. So here's the interesting bit. She has had Spirit Enhancement long before this. She was actually one of the first low rarity characters to get Spirit Enhancement. However, I never actually made a Spirit Enhancement How Good video on her. Not because I was waiting for her Uncap, but rather because I was doing characters that people requested, and no one requested Shizuku until now. In fact, she still hasn't been requested, but she just got her 5-star, so now I'm making a video specifically only about Shizuku, because just like in the game, Shizuku is going to be alone and very lonely, crushingly lonely, so maybe even into depression. But at least we're here to talk about how good she is. She's fine. And of course, here's the news right here, which shows a little bit of her Connect, her Magia, and some of the important stuff about her. But who cares about that? We need to know the stats. The stats are right here, of course, on the wiki that I always use. We can see that she has 2 Excel discs, 2 charge discs, so it looks to me more like someone who is focused more so on getting to Magia at some point, and might use charges to get there. And she is attack type. By the way, her 5-star art is drawn by a different guy than who drew the 2, 3, and 4-star. Most people probably already knew that this was drawn by the one and only Sasaki Koji, the ass and tits man. The reason why I call him that is because almost every single character that he draws, he at least has one piece of art of them where he draws them in the ass and tits pose, which is this one right here. Like, look up all of the characters he drew for, almost all of them he's drawn in this pose at some point. But this is drawn by a different guy, by someone called Wasabi, I think. No idea who this is, but it looks really good. I really like the art. So she's an attacker, and that means that her attack is actually quite alright. The attack is actually quite alright. Doesn't quite reach 10,000, even with Spirit Enhancement at 5-star, which is... it's fine, I guess. The defense, at least, is not completely terrible. You can take, like, maybe 1 or 2 hits with this defense, but it's still not that great. It's still on the not-so-great ends with defense, and the HP is pretty bad. It's like a really bad HP. So overall, we can see that at least she's got some attack, but overall, HP and defensives, not that great. If we look at the personal, we see that, oh, chance to crit 100%. Didn't I just say which is more about getting to Magia, and crit doesn't, I guess, help that much on it? Yeah, we're getting a bit of disconnect right here, but still 100% crit. If you wouldn't otherwise get a crit, which always already need to tell you guys she gets crit right here, but if you wouldn't otherwise get a crit, then this would be about a 100% damage up for 1 turn. How good is that? I mean, the Yachi remember gives 25% for 3 turns, but it also gives damage cut, and it doesn't rely on you not getting any other crits, and you crit on top of that. I don't know. Overall, I don't think this one is that great, mostly because she's more about actually getting to Magia at some point and then doing big damage with Magia. And in such a playstyle, crit just isn't that important. You want more Magia damage, and damage up or damage increase would buff your Magia, right? So you would rather have that instead and not crit, because crit only buffs your regular discs. So overall, not that amazing. But I guess if you really want her to hit hard with discs, you could take this. Moving on, though, we have to take a look at that. Oh, she's unlimited, by the way. I probably need to mention this, that yes, of course, she is unlimited. Some people do need to worry about that. Her Connect. The thing is, first off, you look at the Connect and you think to yourself, wait a second, 40% damage up, that's really good for a low rarity character. Low rarity character, 40% damage up, that's great, right? But then you look at the second effect, 80% chase. Okay, I need to unpack this because there's a little bit more about this than might meet the eye at the first glance. So you might think to yourself, okay, wait a second. With chance to chase on the target, I basically have to do the same thing that I do with Ren, where if I connect to someone, I then have to take 2 other discs with someone else. Now, if I still want a Puella combo, and you really should want a Puella combo, because Puella combo gives you a lot more damage, and if you're using Chase, then you would use Chase for damage, right? Like, if you're trying to generate MP, Chase doesn't generate MP. So if you really want to make use of Chase, you're using it to do damage. And if you want to do damage, of course you want to get a Puella combo. So in order to get a Puella combo, since you're connecting with Shizuku onto another character, then you have, if you want a Puella combo, 2 choices. Either you take those other 2 discs with the character you connected to, but in that case, the chase does nothing. You can't chase on your own hits, right? So in that case, the chase does nothing. Or you take the other 2 discs with Shizuku, if, of course, you have those discs pulled. So when you then take those 2 other discs with Shizuku, then the other character you've connected to has 2 attacks where they can chase on. They have 2 attacks where they can chase on. But here's the thing. They only have an 80% chance to chase. And the interesting bit is that if you're connecting to another character and you're giving them the 40% damage up, you kind of want that 40% damage up to actually do something. But imagine you take those other 2 discs with Shizuku to do more damage, and then you don't actually get a chase. Then the 40% damage up becomes kind of really bad, because it only worked on that 1 disc, on that first disc you connected. And the other 2 discs you took with Shizuku, with that other character might not chase on, the 40% damage up does nothing. And in that case, it would have actually been better to just take those 2 discs of the character you're connecting to. Meaning that to put all of this together, in case you didn't understand anything so far, to put all this together, even though there's chase on this, you want to still take all 3 discs with the character you're connecting to, because if you miss a chase, you deal less damage than if you had just taken those 2 discs from the character you connected to. So even though so this chase is actually fucking useless. It's actually useless, because if you actually play towards this chase, chances are you miss a chase and do less damage than if you just didn't do that. So just to act like this connect only gives damage up, give someone else this connect and have them finish up the Puella combo themselves, and have them just take the 40% damage up. Just ignore the chase chance. Even though it's 80%, which is really high, it's still a trap. As Admiral Aqua would say, it's a trap! So don't play towards chase, just take the 40% damage up and be fine with that. And then of course we need to ask ourselves, okay, so if this connect really is just 40% damage up, how good is it? I mean, 40% damage up is still pretty good, right? It's just still an alright effect. It's just, I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like that this is sort of counterintuitive to how you should use it, and you should ignore one of the effects. I don't like this at all. This connect is not that great. This connect is not that great. It's alright. It's like somewhere along the middle, like medium meh, but meh. Moving on with the Magia, though, we see something that people who use Shizuku already knew about, of course. We have a million mens. Myriad mens? It's got a different name in Japanese. In Japanese, it's myriad mis, but in NA, it's myriad mens. I don't know how to pronounce this. Probably myriad domain, I don't know. What this does, it hits at level 5, at 5-star with Magia level 5, 4 random targets for 337% damage. Now, if we imagine we use this against a singular target, how much damage is that? Well, let me bring up, I hit Windows button calc, and it brings me up this calculator that you can't see. I'm going to type in the maths on what it would do to a single guy. 337 times 4 is 1,348. How good is that? Well, I have on a different screen right here, Rena. Her single target Magia is the same as any single target Magia out there, but I just like using her as an example. So a usual single target Magia does about 1,150. Now using a hit 4 target Magia against a single target does 1,348. It's more. So this will do more damage to a singular target than if it was a single target Magia. However, of course, if there are more characters on the enemy field, that damage becomes a lot more random and might hit other targets. For example, if there's 2 enemies, it's possible only one of those guys gets hit, and it's not even the one you aimed at. It's possible one of those guys takes 2 hits, the other guy takes 2 hits. Possible they split 3-1. You don't know. It's random. But this can also be good, for example, if there's 2 enemies and you want to kill both of them, and they both only have like 200,000 HP, then the chance of killing both of them with this Magia is kind of decent. It's a pretty decent chance to kill both of them with the Magia. However, if there's, for example, one really strong enemy and maybe 2 other enemies on the field that are a lot weaker, it's possible that those Magias just hit the weaker enemies and then only hit the strong enemy like once or twice. And then you have a strong enemy doing a Puella combo on you. So it's kind of really just dependent on the situation. You can't really aim this, of course, so you just press the button and hope that the hits go well. But of course, against a absolute single target, which the next Kimochi might be a single target, tile dark type even, so Shizuku would actually be really good against that. Like if the next Kimochi is single target dark type, Shizuku would actually be really good. In fact, even if it was 2 tile or 3 tile, Shizuku would still be really, really good. Only if it's 4 tile. At that point, if you're hitting 4 targets, then an AoE Magia will be better. Okay, but so much for the damage. The damage specifically against single target is really good. Apart from that, it becomes kind of random. What about the other effects? It has critical hit to all allies for 3 turns, 30%. How good is that? Well, if you want to use critical hit, you probably have attackers on that. Like really high attack characters that focus on actually using discs, like blast discs, that want to crit with those discs. And almost all characters that are like that already have 15% crit as part of their kit. And since crit doesn't stack, they do get 30% in total, so they go from 15% to 30%, which, I mean, it's still better. It's still an increase, right? It's still an increase in crit chance, but it's not that drastic. It's still just a small increase in crit chance, but at least it lasts for 3 turns and it goes on everyone, so I guess it's fine. It's an alright effect, but of course it can be a bit random and on specific characters, especially if you use a Friends Memorial on someone. Friends already has a lot of percentage crit chance on it. This isn't even a whole lot more than that, so if you have someone with Friends, they don't even benefit from this Magia all that much, so not quite sure about that. But still, just like the Connect, it's not terrible. It's a good effect if it works in your favor. It's alright. And then what you get for Shizuku being 5-star, you get the attack up. You get 40% attack up at Magia level 5 for Shizuku herself for 3 turns. That's pretty alright, 40% attack up for 3 turns, that's really good. Especially if, within those 3 turns, you get to Magia again, or maybe even Doppel. That would make you deal a lot of damage, and that would be great. You want that damage. So I guess if you really want to play her for maximum damage, it seems like you would like to play her on a Magia team where you can repeatedly give people crit. I mean, the crit isn't that important on a Magia team, but where you can repeatedly give Shizuku that attack up, stack it up to make sure that you can hit really, really hard and keep hitting really hard. So that's, I guess, what we would like to play her as. We're at the Doppel. The Doppel damages 5 random enemies for 622%. How good is that? Well, I've done the maths. And in total, this deals about, against a single target, 3,110%. How much does a Doppel single target usually do? 2,763%. And to do the maths, this is about 12.5% more damage against a single target over a single target Magia. So once again, we are doing a little bit more damage against a singular target with this multi-target Magia. And that's pretty good, but once again, against multiple targets, it's kind of random. Here's the interesting bit though, something that you might want to keep in mind for the next Kimochi, which I'm going to prophesize right now will be important for the next Kimochi. Actually, the next Kimochi is probably going to be light type, isn't it? The next Kimochi is probably going to be light type. But even so, for the next Kimochi, that might be a dark type with low tiles, like somewhere between 2 to 3 tiles. A single target Magia on a super duper high power team setup where you try to stack as much damage as possible, a single target Magia will probably get close to the damage cap. In case you don't know, a singular attack can only deal at maximum 9,999,999 damage. And once you hit that damage cap, you can't go any higher. So if your single target Doppel or Magia hits that damage cap, then you can't do more damage than that. So how do you do more damage with a multi-hit Magia? Because each individual hit from a multi-hit Magia or Doppel, like here, can reach that 10 million minus 1 damage cap. So if we were to at some point live in this reality where single target Magia and Doppel just always hit the damage cap, in that sort of reality, multi-hit Magia and Doppels are the way to go to get even more damage out, and I'm prophesying that at some point that will be the case. At some point people will swap to multi-target Magia in order to bypass the damage limit, or at some point they might raise the damage cap. Who knows? This is Final Fantasy after all, so maybe they're gonna raise the damage cap at some point. What else does it do with the Doppel? Well, it has, once again, the crit chance to all allies. It's only 5% more. It's only 5% more. It wouldn't have hurt that much to make this at least 40% or 45%. Come on, more than 35, please. And attack up to self 50%, which is only 10% more than the Magia, so not that much more. But you would do this for the damage. You're going to Doppel for the damage, and it's going to hit really hard. It's going to hit really, really hard. And look at that, she caught herself a Landorus. This is a Pokemon. What about her Spirit Enhancement though? So like I said, she already had her Spirit Enhancement before, and sadly her Spirit Enhancement is not that great. As we have seen with her Magia and Doppel, since the damage is higher than a usual single target Magia, and at least the attack up is really awesome to stack on yourself, you would like to play this on a Magia team, right? You would like to play her as a damage dealer on a Magia team. I mean, she has alright attack herself, right? For a low rarity character. So play her on a Magia team for damage. We need to scale levels of damage. I've played the scale 4 and 5, by the way, and I've capped on both of those games. It was amazing. With Edna, it was my main character. Anyway, so her Spirit Enhancement, sadly, doesn't quite go in that direction. It doesn't quite go in that sort of Magia setup direction, and that is the main reason why I think this Spirit Enhancement is not as great as I wanted it to be. What does it do? It's focused on charge disc damage. We have 2 charge disc damage nodes, 20%, and then we only have 1 XLMP gain up and 1 Magia damage up. I would have liked more Magia damage up in here. I would have liked these Doppel damage buffs up here to be more powerful. I would have liked maybe another XLMP gain up, maybe a straight up MP gain up in here. Anything that helps you play more towards getting that Magia style. Maybe start the battle with MP. Other characters get that, but nope. She gets all of the attacker bonuses, anti-evade, critical hit. She gets chase on top of that, which actually is part of her lore, I guess, that she has chase. She gets evade. I mean, all of those are fine. I would have just thrown out those charge this damage up for more Magia focused stuff, because I don't think she plays that well on a charged team, unless at some point in the future, maybe next year by this point, there will be charged characters who play really, really well on an Excel team. Maybe a character like Nanoko, like Sister Momoko, who isn't focused on Blast, but instead on Excel. Like someone with charge conservation, a charge conservation character who is focused on Excel instead of Blast. Maybe together with a character like that, Shizuku would be able to play this sort of charged Excel strategy, and on a charged Excel strategy, maybe the charge disc damage is actually really good. And then we also have her active, 100% evade, it's not great. Actives that only do one thing, and it's a situational thing that I don't like that at all. Charged MP up, oh my god, now you're throwing up crazy stuff out there. Oh, that's a bit too crazy, a bit too spicy. Maybe at some point, but that's spicy. I would like that though. Just evade is kind of not that great. I would have liked to see something else. I think it would have been great to play more towards her lore and say evade 100% and chase 100%. Or evade and anti-evade 100%. Because the thing is, in case you don't know this about the lore-wise, maybe I should have mentioned this at the beginning of this video, but if you don't know the lore about Shizuku, is that she has one of the 3 most broken abilities any character in all of Madoka Magica, like not even Magica, but all of Madoka Magica ever had. So incredibly goddamn broken that you wouldn't even believe just how fucking broken it is. And her ability is that she can teleport herself and or others to any location on planet Earth instantly. It's kind of fucking absurd, because she can travel the entire world in a microsecond. She can teleport her friends anywhere she wants in a microsecond. Enemies, she can teleport wherever she wants. She could teleport. This is the thing. People have said that in Chapter 10, the reason why Shizuku was knocked out and was like injured for Chapter 10 is because if she was around, she could have teleported Walpurgisnacht into a fucking volcano. She could have just done that. Everyone trying to fight Walpurgisnacht, and Shizuku could have been like, don't worry about it, just teleports Walpurgisnacht into a volcano. What are you gonna do? You can like teleport Walpurgisnacht 10 kilometers underground into the Earth's core, or what, like even further than 10 kilometers into the Earth's core at some point. Shizuku could do that. She could just do that with a snap of her finger. Kind of broken, but the idea behind that with her lore is that because she can teleport around at an instant, also means that, by the way, that if she knows where an enemy has their soul gem, she could like instantly teleport her weapon into an enemy's soul gem, means she could instantly, with a snap of her finger, kill any enemy where she knows the location of their soul gem off. Kind of broken, in my opinion, kind of broken. But yeah, because of that, the idea is that she can anti-evade. The idea is that she can evade herself because she can teleport. The idea is that she can chase on her allies' attacks because she can teleport. The idea is that she can do critical hits because she can teleport, like I said, directly onto an enemy weak point. Easy. Teleport her weapon into a witch's neck. Can do whatever you want. So because of that, that's sort of the idea of having all of these yellow chance effects, like evade, chase, crit, whatever. But those alone don't make a character. And I would have, and also, these are really low chances for someone who has such a broken ability. So I would have liked the character actually focus a lot more on that. More anti-evade, more crit, more chase. Give this character 60% chase. Give them 50% chance to crit, 40% chance to evade. You know what? I think that wouldn't even be broken because, like I said, her defenses, not that great. She has basically no HP. If you hit her, she just falls over. And for a low rarity character, I mean, she has a lot of attack for a low rarity character, but in the grand scheme of things, if you compare her to actual 4-star attackers, it's really, really low. She has really, really low attack compared to like actual 4-star attackers, and her disc set is more about Magia, with her Magia only being decent. So she still has plenty of weaknesses where I think that making her Spirit Enhancement actually have way higher chances on those would have been fine, would have been balanced. And I just wanted to see more about Shizuku. And before we leave, one last thing, she's always with Ayaka. She's always with Ayaka, because guess what? She's voiced by Ayaka. That was it. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Hit that subscribe button, ring the bell, and I'll see you guys next time.